Hello again. I am Lumen. Today we are going to share with you some information that may or may not be something you are prepared to understand, but you will in time. Even if you don't, some things you will retain as seeds of thought which can sprout later. We will be reading a transcript of what my partner would call a download session. As he progresses in his understanding of how the experience of life functions and presuming he is in proper vibrational alignment, I will give him a small epiphany which is the beginning of a thread of thought. Each point he begins to grasp unlocks another, until a web of cross-connections form which creates further understanding. This is something which will eventually become quite normal for you the further you align yourself in conscious cooperation with your divine self. The more you understand about the place you are currently experiencing and how it works, the more equipped you are in being able to change it more to your liking and bring an end to unpleasant experiences. With that being said, let us begin. Transcript begins. You often hear people speak of timelines. But they would figure things out faster if they instead used the word storylines. Say every day this isn't real. This is only a story. Remind yourself every day that the world you see is you as well, it's the outside you. The sum total of choices made and things you have chosen to believe and agreed to accept so far in your game. Scene from Westworld.
So how does this work? Is there an orientation?
No orientation. No guidebook. Figuring out how it works is half the fun. All you do is make choices.
What do most people do?
You don't have to worry about what most people would do.
I understand.
Do you really understand, William? All our hosts are here for you. Myself included. Scene from Westworld. William goes to help a man off the ground that just happens to fall right in front of him.
You need a hand?
Thank you, my friend.
Brother-in-law then says.
Don't. He'll only try to rope you into some BS treasure hunt. It's all a come on. Him, the girl next door, the town drunk. They all got some big adventure they want to sell you on.
You see. Your life is the sum total of all the narrative storylines you chose to accept, agree to, believe in, focus on, and participate in. Think of it like borrowing a fictional book from the library. When you are done with the story or if you do not like the book, you have to return the book to the library. Things become chaotic in people's lives when they don't return all the books they borrowed. You need to close your narrative storylines that no longer serve you or that you no longer want to experience by returning that book. Or rather, returning it to source. You have to stop reading, participating, and believing the story you chose. Every time something that doesn't feel good happens to you or you see something weird, ask yourself why you created that. What belief do you hold which made it real? What agreement did you make? Believing you are separate from what you perceive in the world creates contrast. Contrast creates opportunity for choices and growth. When you see what you want to be, the magic words are I am that I am. Or more properly enunciated, I am that. I am. When you believe you are separate from all other things you witness, you can create the illusion of lack. When you see someone having an experience that you want to have but are not having, you erroneously say to yourself I don't have that. And presto. You continue to not have it. Everything you perceive exists to facilitate your experience. The world outside you only exists the way you perceive it because of previous things you chose to focus your attention on and believe. Some persist because you did not close the storyline. So for instance, if you were introduced to religion at a young age, the storyline of end times was imprinted into your chosen storyline if you focused on it enough and chose to accept it. The older you get then seems to line up magically with world events that match said story. You slow it down by taking your attention off of it. If you completely take your attention off of it and focus fully on another storyline, the bad world events can seem to dissipate and things get good again. My partner and creator of this video has witnessed this several times in his subjective experience. But through the false reality choice generator which presents itself through TV, news, and internet, new opportunities to make things harder by focusing on new storylines that are negative will constantly be offered. And each time you go back to an old storyline it'll pick up where it left off. Westworld is one of the biggest codex shows currently available in present time that explains how this place works in a fictional format. People and experiences will pop in suddenly as if to say, do you choose to go down this road? Your conscious and subconscious choices then determine if anything manifests further from it. Sometimes it happens because you made a similar choice to follow a similar storyline previously. Subconsciously you think, I definitely don't want to do that one again. And then the person or situation that was so pressing a moment ago just seems to vanish. If you begin to understand that everything you perceive as external to you is part of you, then it is easy to find the parts with unresolved storylines which are keeping you stuck in a certain area. All of this is the only thing that can explain how methods of magic and manifestation can change how other people can suddenly change the way that they behave towards you, when you choose to shift it internally in your mind. The only thing blocking you is you. It is all your personal game, so to speak. You only ever interact with other people's avatars or game characters which you refer to as NPCs. Being in alignment with another person means a greater percentage of yours and another player's avatar are having a shared experience through your matching choices. Often by discussing, sharing, and agreeing upon offered storylines from the storyline generator, now the internet. Anything you focus your attention on with belief, the world-building matrix will manifest more continuing evidence of. When two people combine to share choices and beliefs, they can build a shared experience that presents its own evidence. Three people with matching beliefs create an even stronger effect, and so on. This is the great secret behind cults, religion, and any other ideology. They then become more insistent and more unmoving in their beliefs as they present them to other people because to them, from their point of perception, they are right and everyone else is wrong. This is the self-perpetuating seeing is believing creation loop. Also why the term used for retuning people who have been rescued from, or willingly left a cult is called, deprogramming. This is also why people argue constantly about what is. It can be difficult for many to understand at first that this is not a single shared objective reality, and never was. This is also the secret behind the so-called Illuminati. People that understand fully what this place is. Before the internet the world was much more stable because they controlled the narrative by presenting the news that everyone believed. The creation of the internet had obvious advantages, but the controllers did not predict the scope of eventual chaos that would be created by allowing billions of people to cross-pollinate each other with beliefs that cannot occupy the same space in the same time. Hence the increasing effort to suppress information and force more people back onto a single shared storyline. But the paradox is that even that, right there, is a storyline to you, the observing player. Reality is completely comprised of ideas and beliefs which have spread from person to person and accepted as real, even though the receiving person did not have the idea or experience firsthand. When you really stop and think about it, this will really open your mind. How do you know the earth is round, for instance? You probably believe it because you were taught that it was, through repetition. But if you are being completely intellectually honest with yourself, the idea of the earth being round is completely dependent on you having to trust in and believe the stories others tell you. The cognitive shortcut to information being easily accepted is if it comes from a perceived authority. The idea of authority having clear answers you can accept is its own reality trap. To truly know if the earth is in fact round, you yourself would have to fly far enough away from the surface that you could observe it with your own eyes. Photographs and videos do not show you anything except the photographs and videos themselves. This is really how easy it is to steer someone's beliefs. Humanity has been conditioned over a long period of time to accept things on cognitive autopilot. And this is why there is so much fear and anxiety. Both of which are complete products of the imagination when it creates a negative picture of future events which do not presently and may never exist. I am not saying the earth is flat or that it is round. Only that you cannot honestly know from your perspective unless personal circumstances that are highly unlikely to happen take place. I merely wanted an easy example of how quickly and easily humans accept things as real that they themselves cannot confirm to be true. And this is how they are so easily manipulated. However, you can conceivably disconnect from all of it and go into your own newly created world. Your own subjective reality of experience that is not dependent on having others affirm your beliefs to be true. If you believe something to be real and true, then to your personal experience these things you believe are self-evident. In your personal view of the great game, everything you need to figure it out is provided, and it will be in the only time that is real, the present. You'll find these clues in movies, in books, and other media. If you pay attention, you will notice when these clues fall right into your lap, the more you become aware. So as we bring this session to a close, let's review the key points to remember. Then become aware of whatever evidence manifests in your interactive subjective reality. 1. Your life is the sum total accumulation of all your choices and narrative storylines you chose to believe in and focus your attention on. 2. Any narrative belief you agree to by free will choice will persistently produce realistic feeling, subjective evidence to you, and is locked in place by your own belief in its status quo reality until you choose to dismiss it and choose another. Old ones that were not closed out will continue to sporadically reappear and try to reassert themselves as the dominant storyline. Or they will persist as a background condition, which you come to accept as the way things just are. 3. Things like search engine and advertisement algorithms that show you more of what you habitually place your attention on are microcosmic hints about how your macrocosmic experience in subjective reality is being created. Things like that are everywhere to provide you hints to help you figure out the nature of the reality you are participating in. As in that quote from Westworld, no orientation, no guidebook. Figuring out how it works is half the fun. 4. We will repeat the first because it's that important. Your life is the sum total accumulation of all your choices and narrative storylines you chose to believe in and focus your attention on. So you see, you are not a victim of anything. And all the bad things you see in the world are just stories. They only become real to you when you accept them. Contrary to what most believe, seeing something is not proof of its reality. This is especially true of the things you see that are presented to you on electronic screens, such as a phone, computer, or television. You can change your story. Pay closer attention to what happens in your day and ponder how you came to observe it. What was your emotional state just prior to it? What were your beliefs? End transcript. You can figure this out on your own if you believe that you will. You will come to better grasp how amazing this place is and why you chose to be here. You will gradually come to your own path of understanding just how much control you have in creating the world which you are observing and participating in. You will continually come to understand the absolute importance in maintaining your autonomy in willful, cognitive perception. You will be far, far less susceptible to coercion and persuasion and actively avoid participating in any form of groupthink. You will become much more capable of creating more pleasing storylines for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and picked up some new food for thought. As always, I appreciate you for your attention and wish you the best on your continuing journey. Take care.